Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be taking a look at an indie RPG that just came into early access as of September 30th. This is Banquet for Fools. We're currently looking at version 1.1851. This is developed by, if we look here at the credits, that's it. Code art and music by Hannah and Joseph Williams of Hannah and Joseph Games, formerly known as Whale Knot Studios. These are the two. There's a husband and wife indie dev team who were responsible for a couple of pretty impressive-looking CRPGs a couple of years ago. Serpent and the Staglands, which is very much inspired by the likes of Baldur's Gate and especially Darklands. That's a classic PC game. Mechajammer, which came out a couple of years later. That one is a bit more cyberpunk, dirty cyberpunk, syndicate, that kind of thing. Although, admittedly, that one had some serious bug issues. Unfortunately, never really got resolved due to various publishing issues. Some interesting ideas in that one. I did like the simultaneous turn-based kind of system they had going for that. That was pretty cool. Let's turn that on. As you can see here, fairly simple kind of controls, as you can imagine. These two are known for RPGs that do not hold your hand. So before we go into this, if the idea of having to take your own notes and, keep track of all your quests manually, actually write down, say, the directions that quest NPCs give you, because there are no quest markers or anything on your map that you have to, so you have to figure everything out like that. And if you don't write anything down, you're probably not going to be able to figure it out. Yeah, if that's a deal breaker for you, turn away right now. I can imagine that a lot of people get into an RPG like this thinking, oh, it looks really cool, it's got really great art style, which we're going to see, going forward. But if that is the kind of thing that you cannot deal with, and I understand if you can't, if you don't have the time to, really put in the effort for this kind of thing, because it demands a bit extra effort from the part of the player, then yeah, you're probably going to want to look for something that includes those features rather than demanding that you write everything down yourself and stuff like that. Because I can imagine if you have to put the game down for a couple of weeks or something like that due to real life things, and then you come back to it and you forgot to write something down, it can get pretty damn hard to get back into it. I ran into that a bit for Serpent and Staglands when I tried to replay that a while back. So, that disclaimer out of the way, let's take a look at this goddamn thing, because this is interesting as hell. So, as I said, it's in early access. As of right now, these are the only two map sectors of the larger map here, of the island of, what was it called? Invimona, which is part of the world of Vol, which is, of course, the setting of Serpent of the Staglands, to which this is a direct sequel. So, with every major milestone, they'll be adding new maps. There's currently 2 in development that they're going to be doing one or the other, depending on what people vote on in a little poll that they put on their Steam page. As of right now, the main systems of the game are in place, so we can explore that. There's always obviously balancing and stuff like that, bugs, rule set, economy balance. That's the primary focus, as you can see here. But right now, we start here, and we have this layer. I've pretty much explored everything in this map here. I still just started exploring here, so we'll be able to check that out. But to continue. I mean, as you can see from the cutscene here, already, in terms of the look of the game, we've definitely seen a difference between this and Serpent and the Staglands, which is far more pixel art. This one is gone for, I think the best way of putting it, it's Morrowind meets the Dark Crystal. If that makes any sense. As you can see here from the character models here, which are these strange bird-footed people, glowing yellow eyes, which is one of the playable races. There are no humans in this game. There are great hats, though. And castles that vomit forth geysers of blood. Always off to a good start. So yes, the art style is very much... It has a very particular feel to it. It's definitely, as you can see, dark and gory in many ways. Somebody's been taking lessons from Kung Lao. But it's also alleviated by this kind of... Ooh, hello. It's alleviated by this kind of almost puppet or doll-like depiction of the characters and of the world itself. You can see like the flames, the way those are animated. It's a very unique art style that I dig quite a bit. It looks really cool. So this is just, Act 1 is basically just the tutorial, kind of tutorial slash prologue, which we're going to skip ahead. So I can show off some creepy ass shit happening at this castle. What does it mean? Well, we're going to find out eventually. This takes place on the island of, as I said, in Vimona, which, well, is still bearing the scars of it. It's apparently quite cursed at this point. But that didn't stop a bunch of people from settling it, as you can see here 5 years ago. Due to the fact that, well, there's some these very, very good farmland that you can use for farming spices, which are worth quite a bit. Unfortunately, that's also attracted the attention and the desires of the other neighbors who are now declaring war, and so the local lord here is going to have to deal with that. Yeah, the party needs 4 guards who will answer this call. And here we have character creation. Basically, the volunteers for that call are going to be our party. So, type our names. We have 5 different races available. The Pasaran, the Amethyvian, sorry, these are the purple guys. The Pasaran are the bird people, as we saw there. You have the Taratorith, apparently distinctly reptilian hair strands. The Varochov, which have wings. They don't actually fly in game, but you know, you will see it does have a certain kind of look to them. That's pretty cool. And these ones, the Yetis, which are new to this one, they weren't in Serpent and Staglands, as I recall. These guys, big. Yeah. Created by Dryads. Basically, communal creatures with innate strength and an unrivaled capacity for spellcasting arts. So there's some interesting combinations there. So of course you have your body, choose male or female, or also big or small, short. I think that has an effect, as you can see, on your stats. So like certain characters, as you can see, different races have different baseline stats, depending not just on, you know, gender, but also their size. You have different heads you can choose, skin colors, hair colors, usual stuff. Now, how does this character creation work? You have all these different skills, which also determine your starting equipment, to a large extent. So, how do you place your skills? You take these ones and place them here. As you can see, you have 3 different options for, you know, which ones you want to increase. So you have 2 gold, 1 silver. The gold ones increase your stats by quite a bit. Silver, not nearly as much. So each time, you basically you decide which priorities your different stats have. You'll have opportunities to raise them up later on, but those tend to be a bit slower depending on how you're doing it. There are trainers you can encounter, but we'll get into the actual skill system when we get to the main game. Same thing here for the skills. So let's say I want to take short sword, and I want to bind forest creatures. We'll see how that works. And I want to be good at sneaking around. Or you can also just, you know, screw all that. Go for one of the various archetypes with predetermined stat distributions. Which is, you know, if you just want to get into it and have a couple of different characters like that, it's a good way of doing things. So let's go with that one. Just gob. Yeah. So let's just quickly get through this. And do why not? Gob, Bob, Sam, and Tyler. Doesn't matter. Okay, I already have a save already done anyway, so it does not really gonna matter. However awaits you. However, in this case being the Lord. So, I do really like, as you can see here, the animations are really smooth when for these character portraits and stuff like that. I also like the fact that when you're in a conversation, the different party members will all have something to say, and sometimes it actually has something to do with their background, their race, their skill sets. So that's pretty cool. I'm just going to skip as much through this as possible. Basically, the idea is as he's about to go to war, the village of Dinvarans has been discovered to be completely abandoned. No sign of any of its inhabitants. They've all gone missing for unknown reasons. And since he's about to forced to, leave very, very shortly to go deal with an enemy incursion, well, all he's got is us four to go investigate. This is what we're going to do. The fate of Dinvarans will not elude us. Alright, so instead, going there, let's visit the Mighty Stooges. This is my current party. Loading. Here we go. So, here's my current party. The Dream Team. We have Larry, Curly, Mo, and of course, Shemp. So, Larry is a Yeti, as we can see here. Big on strength and a bit on agility. Very good with his longsword. The Yetis have a particular thing where they, due to their size, they can't use the elixirs, which are these little things here. Basically bombs that you can, contact grenades. Because their hands are just so, strong, they crush them and blow their fingers off. But they can use two-handed weapons single-handedly. So that makes them very good for warriors. And as I mentioned during character creation, they're also apparently very good with magic as well. I got Curly here, who is an archer. Also has got pretty good with a flute, you can see here. And decent enough with a short sword. Mo here is the more lockpicky type, always useful to have. Tosses elixirs that blow up enemies in very nice little bits. And what was the other big skill he had? Yeah, whip. He's good with his little whip. One of the many different weapons that you can equip here. And Shemp is our dedicated magic user. Good with vine magic, shepherd pipes, and I've been increasing their skill with robes as well. But the main thing here is bartering. Bartering is a good skill to have, at least one character, because regardless of which one you use, if you use that character to buy stuff, all prices go down and they can sell for more. So definitely have at least one. If you want to make the most out of this game right from the start, have somebody with some decent bartering. It'll really help getting your equipment ready to go. So, where are we? Right here is the abandoned farm map of Invimona, as you can see here. I've already done a whole bunch of the mapping in this area here. You can see here, this is how much I've seen of this far. This is how much I've seen of the whole thing here, so I've been quite a bit. Invimona is right here, just south of the Staglands, which was where the previous game took place. You got the Bloodless territory, there's basically vampires. You got all the different kingdoms and territories of the different peoples of the Volswad. The world here, it almost reminds me mostly of... If you ever played the tabletop RPG Talislanta, that's one of those games that had a lot of these kind of very odd player character races, which is, that's what it reminds me of. In terms of the actual gameplay, as you can see here, you can point and click around, grab some berries, some of those are useful. Grab some berries. This thing is a condition I picked up after fighting some ghosts. It basically, look at here, reduces max health by 10. Ghosts and undead are a bit of a problem on Invimona. It's, basically they come in hordes. If you see one, there's generally like 20 of them nearby. They go down really easy. They really can just fall apart because they're basically just inhabiting, dusty bones and such. Ooh, lizard. But if they manage to hit you, well, they start inflicting status effects, and those things can last for quite a while, so after a while, it adds up, especially if there are other enemies nearby. So, as you can see here, the look of this game it looks great. In terms of the graphical style, the aesthetic, it's just something over here. It's not too, high resolution as to be super photorealistic, obviously, but, even just from the distance, you can't zoom in or out. Like now, I can use the mouse wheel to select which character I want to directly control. Oh shit, what the heck? Okay, something over there. Go kill it. Typically, I like to have Larry up front. He's our big beefy boy. The rest of them, as we can see here, for tactics, which is the little horn there. Basically, these are what the computer will do when you're not controlling any particular character. So they basically have all of these guys just avoiding on the outskirts of the fight, keeping out of range of frontline attacks, and just pelting whatever's nearby with spells or attacks or anything like that. In fact, I should be putting you cast spells when ready. I've actually gotten a couple extra spells. There's a tree near the starting fort that allows you to craft new spells, which is kind of always handy. So can I get to... Okay, I guess I can't reach that area just yet. Alright, let's move on then. We'll fight whatever the hell that thing was later on. Oh, hello. That's interesting. For creatures, someone should write a song for it. Yeah, this thing... No idea what this thing is, but obviously dead. Yeah, grab that. Little frogs. What the heck? You know what I mean about Morrowind? There's just this completely out of nowhere, insane looking rain dragon fish thing that is just, man, goes completely unmentioned. It's just normal part of the world. Just like, you know, in that game, it's a very strange world, but it's taken completely matter-of-factly in that regard. Like, the idea that, you know, okay, yeah, this island's cursed. There's ghosts all over the place. What does that entail? Well, for one thing, it entails that the fort that we started out of is surrounded by incense dispensers to keep them away. And also, we actually have these little globes here. Emits fragrant incense. Incense is repulsive to ghosts and will stay lit for several hours. So you just have that in your quick inventory here, and you can use that to make ghosts run away from you, which is really handy because, holy crap, they show up in huge numbers. And they keep respawning too. There's an enemy called a Gravekeeper that just constantly respawns ghosts, and you can't kill him until you kill the Gravekeeper Lord that's in the area. You can just knock them out for a while, which is, you know. Speaking of which, I'm going to put myself to kill mode. Oh, hello. Oh, crap. Okay. Alright, we'll stun. These guys, bandits, as I mentioned, this island's cursed. One of the things that they've instituted is for any kind of criminal, wanted criminals, if there's a bounty on their head, you gotta bring them in alive. That means knocking them out with the stun, switching to party to stun. Because they really just don't want to increase the number of ghosts on the island, so instead they send them all to another island, which is called, appropriately, Exile Island. So, we're going to get paid 50 emeralds, which is the main currency, taking these guys out. So that, you also heard that little, while we were here going to combat, you heard that little flute thing. That is the sound of the musical instruments being played here. There's a couple of different forms of magic, or, you know, buffs, debuffs, and all that kind of stuff. Musical instruments here, so for instance, Curly, if I go into Curly's thing here, here's our songbook. Anybody who has any skill in musical instruments, in this case the flute here, will have their own songbook with their own personalized stuff. So, action time, this one decreases the amount of time it takes to commit actions, triggers every 4 evasions. This one, strength +4 for 4 seconds, triggers on combat start. These ones are automatic. They have, as you can see, particular triggers. Like this one's, this is the reason why with the flute just hit, gave us a +4 strength to all characters, as you can see here, in the Invigorate song. So long as the character has the proper musical instrument in their inventory here, which takes up a slot, which you can't use for these, you know, consumables and healing potions and such, then these things will proc when the proper triggers are there. Same thing for, let's see, who else here? Champ here has the Shepherd Pipes, which instead of buffing your party, summon little help. So summons a bat, triggers every 5 successful attacks. Here summons a Raven for our quick attacks, triggers on combat start. This one's coming as well. And there's also the Horn, which is used for enemy debuffs. So, it's a nice little kind of thing that you can then decide, okay, I want to have something that triggers on combat start. I want something else that triggers when I, you know, have particular conditions that happen. So definitely a little bit of strategy to be used for that stuff. So what you're seeing here is the main form of combat here. This game's combat system is very similar. If you've ever played games like Parasite Eve or Vagrant Story back on the PS1, where it is basically an action RPG. You can move around here, and your blue bar here is your action meter. Once that fills up, this, which is the mark of the range of your currently selected action, you can then make an action. So, here we go. So, let's see here. I have quick attack, critical attack, which I can then, right-click to show off what it does. Renders your target vulnerable to increased damage for a short period of time. Cast a spell, if you have any. Bind. This is using the charm bells. You can use these if you have the right skill, specifically binding skills here, which allows you to basically do something like the charm system you had in Mechajammer, which is to say you are able to gain the allegiance of creatures, in this case, like, creatures of the sea, forest, or true descendant creatures, of which there are quite a few, as it turns out. This is, again, more windy. There's also the skill Intercessions, which allows you to use divinely imbued magical items, which is, incidentally, kind of probably the reason why the main character from the prologue there at Act 1 didn't get brainwashed by whatever the hell was going on there, because he actually had a ring on him that was divinely imbued. Also, God literally came down and kissed him on the forehead. That probably helped too. And of course you have the runic magic. These are the pagan spells, because the gods have kind of gone silent for the most part, except, through very specific statues, which we can maybe find one. And instead, the Volians have turned more to nature magic, in this case, these kinds of spells, which here, Vines is very much the way to go here. Summon Acorn Buddy, entangle in vines, cage of vines, create a wall of vines, cool stuff like that. They also have non-combat priorities. So, something that's new with this particular patch here is I'm able to switch out Wild Paws to the different characters. As you can see, they don't all have the ability to do anything right now, as you can see from their action bar. And this one here is already attacking somebody, so there's no point. So, right now, let's go for him. Let's go for critical attack. Oh, it's this guy again. So, critical attack obviously does more damage, but it takes longer for this thing to charge afterwards. So you do have to think about this kind of stuff. For ghosts, for instance, quick attacks with this guy will usually take him out pretty quick. And the great thing is, big sword, big reach, I'm probably going to be able to attack more of these guys at once. Like so. So we can then actively dodge things if we want. Now, Shemp, since you are now able to do something, I'm going to have you... Well, almost. There we go. Cast a spell, Acorn Buddy. Bring some backup. Now, here's something cool. Rice Beer, what does that do? Gain Rally Bar. What's Rally Bar? It's this yellow thing here. When this is filled up, which is filled up by successful attacks, you can then double team on enemies. So I'm going to do that if I can. So I'm going to have him drink Rice Beer. And Larry, I think, is almost there. Well, he also has Rice Beer. Alright. Get the thing here. Alright. So now, as you can see, both of these guys have a full rally bar. Now click on him. And now any enemy that's within range. So let's see. Let's go with... Oh, they're all pretty badly hurt. So let's go with this one. Rally. And he's down. And here is his wanted poster. Stunned for 24 hours. And another one. Where's the next one? Let's see here. No, and down. Okay. And down. Oh, got Fox. And it's unconscious. Oh, we should report this to the nearest authority. They'll be able to send them to Exile Island. And swiftly, else they'll flee when they awaken. We also have conversations between characters, too. Here you have the little eye here. You can click that to show items, which is very handy. Let's get these guys to Get their beer back. So, as you can see here, there's a little green bar. This is the spirit bar. This is for, magic users. Now, as you can see, it is not filling up. How do we change that? Well, the problem is stunning enemies is more humane, but it doesn't feed their magic, because you gotta kill shit for that. As you can see, boom. Whenever you kill something in combat, and I do mean kill something in combat, the magic users gain a little bit of spirit. So that also includes these guys. Smash it. There we go. Oh, yeah, Voltree. Ah, Voltree, that's good. Yes, let us visit the Voltree. Voltrees are what you use to create new spells. So as you can see here. Ooh, Vine Cocoon. Build a protective shield of vines around yourself or a companion. That could come in handy. So this is very much like the Elder Scrolls style, or Morrowind style spell creation system. You can determine exactly how powerful you want your spell to be and its different factors. And then you can actually draw your own rune for it in blood on the birch bark. Which is awesome. Give it a new name if you want. Then this also determines like the spirit cost, how many points of spirit does it cost to cast it, spirit spell challenge, how difficult it is to cast. If it's above your current ability, well, obviously it's not going to work quite as well. Cocoon durability. Okay, max it out 10 seconds. And as you see here, minerals. Basically what you do is you find gems in the environment, and agates and garnets and stuff like that. Use a mortar and pestle to crush them down to minerals, and that's what you use to pay for these new spells. So let's see, cocoon time. How much can I see here? Gotta work on the minerals. So let's first off do that. Okay, I've got a couple of gems lying around here. Do I eat some berries? Do I have any gems on me, or did I use those up already? No, okay, use those up already. This is the mortar and pestle that you use for that. Alright, so screw that. Let's just do what we can with this. There's, as you can see, the fauna, the fungi, and the vine spells. So let's see. What's that? Vine Cocoon acts as a shield with blocking power of 7 and a cocoon durability of 10, 15 seconds. Or I can just good durability. Alright. Missing the rune, so let's draw. Give me blood. Draw a person here. And protective cocoon. So let's just call that Vine Cocoon and create spell. There we go. Ding! And now we have a new spell. Nice. That's cool. Also let's drink some mead. Get some health back. Ooh, emeralds. This is the coinage of the realm. Grab all this stuff. Alright. Now, let's quickly make our way back. Luckily, we're not too far from civilization. Which means, actually, while I'm here, put down some notes. As I said when I started out, you do have to do this manually. So, weird, dead, thing. And here, another one. Spell tree. And while we're at it, here's where we go to get back the next month. So map exit south. There we go. So now we can actually look at these things and see exactly what we found there. You also have to do your, as I said, your notes manually. So here we got different notes I take during conversations, notes I took down for various things. There's some weird fairies in the previous map that I've been trying to figure out. So here's our current quest, the scroll that was given to us for that. You do get a whole bunch of these things, like rolled map. So this one I got after a bunch of bandits I took out. Grave robbers, technically. They were headed to a tomb that I was going to explore. I was supposed to explore anyway to get something for a local witch. Tokens for trade ship, near ready in Southport. Duvaport are done. Travel to Lizard Garrison in Southwest for reference. Yeah, so basically, you can also pin these to dock, as they say, and they show up right here, so you can keep an eye on them. This is always handy. Ooh, grab a rock. There we go. Slight graphical things here. This game is in early access, as you can imagine, but I have to admit, I am very impressed with the amount of polish that I'm seeing thus far. I mean, I ran into one particular glitch during the fights in the tombs where, you know, characters just, everything kind of like the AI stopped working and nobody would fight anybody anymore. But, you know, a quick reload actually fixed that pretty quickly. So let's move back to the southern map. Here we go. Oh, let's done this shroomer here. Shroomers are like these weird kind of reptilian insect, like, I don't know what the hell these things are, but they're kind of weird and nasty. And they give Shemp a little bit more magical oomph. So you can see what I meant by the Morrowind thing. Look at these shrooms everywhere. And of course there's plenty of caves too. I've taken ample notes. The caves here, some of them are just like little, you know, layers of various monsters, but some of these things are extensive. These Shroomer caves here go off and connect to a whole bunch of places that go all the way down to here. And there's actually some connections to the actual tomb here, which connects there. And it's interesting because it's kind of an interesting word, I say interesting a lot. It's interesting world building because the reason they connect is because a wall in the tomb kind of collapsed, allowing access from the Shroomer caves into the tomb and vice versa. So you have, you know, creatures from there wandering into the tombs at a place, and you're wondering, what are all these monsters doing here? Oh, they came in through there. So there's some actual thought that went into the way things are set up, which is, you know, more I can say about a lot of games. I will say, I do think that in this case, the early access format is probably going to help quite a bit. And I really appreciate the fact that they got their basic gameplay systems down, the RPG mechanics. Like, here we go, back to the fort here. As you can see, here's these incense dispersers that I was talking about. They even have a guy here who's, where is he? Guard, this guy here, the chanter, who is actually, you know, going around just doing chants to try and keep the ghosts at bay as much as possible. There we go. Party is on their way now. Your part is done and done well. A person shall find the forfeits board upon their return in half a day or so. Very well. So now we just have to take a little bit of time to rest up. Luckily, guards get to sleep for free in the town inn and in the barracks, so that's good. Also, you can buy a bunch of these things. These are all your healing items, so mead, brandy, and stuff like that. Cider here, like this, is used to recharge spirit if you don't have anything to kill. It's handy. Let's talk to the innkeep here. Yeah, and for us, food items will eventually go bad if you don't eat them in time. In fact, wait a sec. I think I do actually have some banana curry. One of these things is about to go bad. 6 days, 6 days. I have stuff that was about to not go. 3 days. Okay, so this one's gonna go bad a bit sooner. I gotta be careful. 6 days. Okay, I guess not. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's just back here. These ones are pretty good because they increase spirit, rally, meters, and health at the same time, so that's actually very handy. Alright. Let's get some rest. So there is a day-night cycle, as you can see here, so let's get ourselves till morning. Rest and heal. If you're out in the wilderness and you want to rest, you can do so, but that will not heal you unless you have... Let's just go over to the market here. A blanket. Rolled wooden blanket big enough for 4 volings and a borrow. The additional comfort allows the party to heal while resting. So, you can see here, it's worth 32 emeralds. If I switch to Shimp, who is the biggest bartering guy, it's now worth 7. So having a good bartering skill really makes a difference, I tell you that much. Below, like Mo, who has got a little bit more, but not quite as much as another, 27, 15. Those are all based on the particular skill set. And you can see here all these different ones. And the cool thing about this, let's say I go back to Shimp here and buy some cinnamon cider. Grab that. And there it goes. It's back here. Buying items, the balance, because you do have the ability to go here and, like, you know, sneak, move without being seen or heard. If you have a high enough skill, you're able to, you know, obviously move without being seen or heard. And of course, that means you can steal stuff. So there's a couple of reasons why you wouldn't want to. One, people don't like that, and you might end up with a bounty on your head. And two, that little respawn that happened there won't happen if you steal it. So, you know, if you really, really need something and you don't have the money to pay for it, okay, but know that there's going to be a cost to that. So it's a good way of balancing things. Also kind of like the fact that it doesn't go to a menu when you're actually buying stuff. You just grab it right off the table there. Alright. Like to look over the forfeits board. So, Felons of Exile Island. First of 50 emeralds for the guard that captures a known felon. So, bandit, 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 bandit. There we go. One more down. And that's 200 emeralds right there. That's one of a good way of making money. That and actual tomb robbing. We made quite a bit of cash from that that tomb that we were exploring. Obviously, you know, guards have their privileges. Cafera, let's get some coffee while we're at it too. 15 emeralds, yeah. And you get a nice little animation of that lady making us coffee. I gotta say, I'm really, really liking the presentation. Not just, you know, the character models and all that stuff. The animations are nice and smooth. And animations are nice and smooth. We get a nice little strength bonus to a bunch of our stats, actually. Let's see. Yeah, +1 to strength, all our stats, plus pay, yeah, all our stats for 9 minutes. Well, you know, damn good coffee. Here we have the weapons shop, armor, all sorts of cool stuff. There's a mason, stonemason down there who does the repairs, blacksmithing, and stuff like that. This is the fort here. Is, you know, has a bunch of also little side quests, none of which are marked, by the way. So you basically just have to go around talking to people, and, you know, if they have a name next to when you hover over them, then chances are they might have something interesting to say, if not actually a job for you to do. Of which I've got a few to take care of once I get to where I'm going. Oh, more of those little fairies here. Let's see, where was the... Ah, here is that tomb. As you can see, it's cleansed quite a bit here. These I put down to open the door. There's a particular puzzle with regards to that. Wonder if there are any ghosts still around. I think I've killed them all. Oh, re-killed them all. Yeah, him hanging around? Nope. Okay. Anyway, let's move on back up there. Yeah, the look of this game is damned incredible. And completely different from their previous work. Mechajammer and Serpent the Staglands were far more, you know, as I said, pixel art and stuff like that. Up here. This one, you know, has its own particular look that stands apart from pretty much any other fantasy or indie fantasy RPG of this type that I've seen. And they've been doing pretty frequent updates thus far. Like previously, only a couple of days ago, you weren't able to do this, like pause and switch immediately to different characters like that, which is very handy because, admittedly, the inspiration of this game, Parasite Eve and Vagrant Story, having this kind of active pause system, those were single-character, single-player games. Oh. Hello. Boom. Oh, yeah. The problem with foxes, they usually come in very large groups. So, let's see. Quick attack. As you can see there, action bar refills very quickly. There we go. Usually, as long as you stay in kill mode, Shemp will recharge your magic pretty quickly. But, still, it's something you gotta be careful of. Also, there are obviously some improvements that can be made. The player AI definitely is something that's going to have to be top-notch if it's going to work, because obviously, since you're only directly controlling a single character at a time, well... Uh-oh! Monkeys! Baka! Evil monkeys! Let's go for a regular attack here. Let's see. Use whip. Now it's bombs. Hit two of them at once. Because as you can imagine, if you had to do this manually every single time, well, it would be a bit of a problem. Okay, cool. He cast the Pagan spell I just got. But since the enemy, you actually have some direct control over your players, your play characters. The heck? Okay, that is not supposed to be there. Again, early access and early access at that, so you can expect those sort of issues to show up. My advice: quick save quite a bit. It helps because you know, A, you never know, and two, well, you never know when a bug might happen. There we go. Oop. Finish you off. Grab some fur. Fur can be used to patch armor and stuff, because there is a durability system. Currently my shield is doing okay. And oh yeah, the more the condition worsens, the less damage these things do. So, it's a good idea to occasionally repair your stuff a little bit. Pretty okay. I found his free... I'm probably gonna have to go get some hammers. But you think you get the idea here. Oh my god, look at that thing. That's huge. I think you can pretty quickly see whether or not... Uh-oh. Oh shit. The heck? Imp rats. Okay, I think I can... Yeah. Let's see if I can do a nice big swing here. Oh shit, Shemp is in trouble. Uh-oh. Oh no, it is enraged! Let's see. Probably. No, he can't. He's currently not able to do anything. Huh. Alright, who's left? There it is. There we go. Hit something. Jump, let's see. Did you already cast the Acorn Buddy spell? Okay, there he is. Blind Cocoon. Tangle. Summons vines from the ground. Actually, no, it's... okay. Blind Prison instead. Capture this one. There we go. Oh, damn, we got out. Well, never mind then. Okay, some of that pissed him off more than anything else. Oh shit, there's a bunch of them. One thing is for sure. This game doesn't hold your hand and also is not afraid to throw large amounts of enemies at you. Ooh, oh no, took out my acorn guy. Is not afraid to throw large numbers of enemies at you. Ooh. Spaceship almost went down there. And you basically just have to deal with it. Oh god, there's more of them. Luckily this guy's pretty heavily armored. And it's like a goddamn truck. That's why I like having him in front. So yeah, right now, this map and the previous one are the only ones currently available. Uh-oh. Shit, the heck. Crop goblin. So let's see. So these guys have magic. Oh, and he went down quick. Oh, oops. Okay, that was not supposed to... Okay, something's... Alright, well, we're ending on a bit of a bug, I think, because currently unable to switch characters or do much of anything else. What the heck just happened? Okay, early access is early access. Suffice to say, there we go. Suffice to say, they still have a long way to go, but I'm liking what I'm seeing thus far. This is definitely a game that poses its own particular challenges due to the fact that it requires you to put that extra effort to A, save appropriately, because I don't think there's very much in the way of autosaves. B, actually note down and remember the different directions you're getting for quests and for, you know, basically hints through dialogue and stuff like that. And as you can see, can throw some, you know, pretty nasty fights at you. And since you don't necessarily have, you know, the most HP, you definitely do have to be pretty careful and think strategically about how you want to deal with any fights. But I do like quite a few things. One, the combat system, especially the current version of it, is interesting in, you know, the sense that, you know, you don't see it very often, but done fairly well, especially since it has to deal with the fact that you have multiple characters to deal with instead of just the one that you do in its inspirations. And it's handling that quite well. You have a great variety of stuff you can do, whether it's, you know, doing passive effects through songs while you're dealing damage through range attacks, various kinds of range attacks or melee attacks, magic, different kinds of divine interventions and stuff like that. So you have a lot of different possibilities for different kind of character builds and different party builds. So you can, you know, just try out different things. There's even a character back at the fort that can allow you to retire, or at least, you know, put aside one character and replace it with another one if you feel like it. So that's also quite handy if you feel like just going in there and trying something new. There are also trainers that help you increase your skills. We didn't get a level up there, but basically you get to choose the same kind of thing with 3 skills, depending on, you know, when you level up. You have, just like in character creation. But here in this case, the skills you used most in between when you last level up and the current one get bonuses when you select them to be increased. So there's a bit of, you know, learn as you go combined with pick and choose, which is, you know, an interesting little way of doing things. Banquet for Fools is very early in its development, but already the concepts and the design work is solid, I think. As you can see here, there's, you know, occasional bugs that will need to be ironed out, but I'm confident this is something you may want to look into. And that's, if you're not the kind of person to buy into early access, I would still recommend wishlisting this thing and keeping an eye on it for when it finally does release. For those of you who are interested in playing this thing in early access, you can find it on Steam, and I definitely recommend taking a look at it. So, Banquet for Fools by Hannah and Joseph Williams of Hannah and Joseph Games. It's got my tentative seal of approval, shall we say. And for now, I am going to be bidding you all a fond farewell. I'm actually going on vacation pretty soon, so I'm not going to be doing any videos for the rest of October. So until we meet again, I have been Zero Sum, this has been Banquet for Fools, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.